All right, Warriors fans, welcome back to Searley Set of Six, and this week serves as a bit of a group mourning session, a bit of counselling with Uncle Searley. Let's think of it that way. Of course, a disappointing result on Friday night, 32 points to 14, our first loss of the season, one I was really gutted for on Friday night and most of Saturday. However, once the upset started to unfold throughout the weekend, I started to feel a little bit better about it. Still hurts on your Monday, though. You cop a lot of punishing water cooler chat from either casual Warriors fans or people that aren't Warriors fans and they've been waiting to stick the boot in. So, yeah, a little bit rough there. Well done to the Tigers, though. They did deserve that one. Henry, mate, you watched that one from the comfort of the couch. Is that right?
Yeah, I did. And it was a bit disappointing, I thought. It hurt. I think being the first one of the season, it hurt with how the season's been going. I think we were expecting a comfortable win. I think everyone was predicting that. So it was a bit of an interesting one, but yeah, we'll have to dissect it properly.
Yeah, we certainly will. Let's rip through my six biggest takeaways and talking points from Friday night's loss to the Tigers. I wanted to start with a couple positives because I'm a glass half full guy, and then we'll move more towards some work-ons and improvements needed over the next couple weeks. My first point, Warriors fast start, but then we went away from what was working. I loved our start. We scored first, something we'd only done once this season, up 10-0 after 15 minutes. It looked like everything was pointing towards a big win, and in a way it was all coming a little bit too easy. I thought 13 plus was well and truly on. From there, though, I thought our attack went away from targeting the area of the paddock we were having so much success in, and that was down that Jock Madden, Makasini channel there on our right side attack. All three of our tries came from the same play, heading right. We had Jacko Ford running front door off Wade, or a prop in general, just running front door off Wade. We had Tanner Boyd out the back of that. Then he always had an edge second rower coming down off him with our fullback out the back. The first time we hit Tane out the back, he hits Chance one-on-one with Makasini for our first try. The second try, Tanner Boyd actually hits Laban, too big, too strong. He goes over in that channel between Jock Madden and Makasini. And then the third one, Boyd hits Chance out the back. He was playing fullback at that stage. He gets the ball behind Marata and he dots in between Madden and Makasini. I don't understand why that wasn't our go-to play every time we were in the red zone. Jock Madden, Makasini never played with each other before. Makasini only 18 years old, and in amongst some pretty good things, he also had a pretty rough night in general, handling-wise as well, and clearly we'd made a point to target him. We saw some of our big middle forwards rush up on D and put shots on him in his yardage carries, so clearly Webby and the coaching staff and players had ID'd this. And I thought after so much success early doors to then not go back to that play until so late in the game, it didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. I heard Webby and Fish say post-game that we went away from our plan and our structure. I wouldn't be surprised if that's what we were referencing to. Also, our completion rate. When we complete over 80% in games, more often than not, we win. We completed at 77% in this one, which was the same as the Tigers, yes, but they play a different style to us. They have a bit more points up their sleeve from longer range. We're more of a team that likes to complete high, limit errors, strike in our red zone off some basic shape, and our completion rate didn't really allow us to do that at all. So I was a bit disappointed after so much early success. I expected us to just continue to pepper that edge throughout the whole game, and it felt like at times we were a little bit lost, we were a little bit clunky on attack, and I thought we went away from what was potentially our biggest strength on the night, which was disappointing to see.
Yeah, I agree. And I think in the second half, something that I noticed is that when Tanner Boyd was taking on the line, it almost seemed like those runners weren't there. Like the Jacko Ford, the prop coming off that inside line and then the next one and then out the back door. It just didn't seem like the connection was there compared to the opening 20 minutes. And I think, like you said, it's where we've been scoring all of our tries. Not all of them, but a lot of them. And we broke the Knights down like that. We broke down the Raiders like that. And then all of a sudden, it started working. And then we just conceded a couple of tries, and then we just didn't go back there. And then when Tanner Boyd got the ball in the second half, there was multiple occasions in that last 15 minutes where he was taking on the line. It was a bit further out. It wasn't on the complete line. But it just didn't seem like the connection and the want to actually go back to where it was working. It didn't feel like the same connection was there.
Yeah, I felt like physically we were there. Felt like mentally at times we weren't. And watching the game at the stadium, you could see Tanner trying to organise a lot behind the play. And there looked like there was a bit of confusion, which is interesting because he still played that dominant half role. Like, he had 67 touches, Lukey had 40. So the balance is a little bit more even there, but like 67 is still a lot of touches. He was still pulling the strings. And at times, yeah, he looked dangerous. Not a lot happening outside of him. I feel like our attack is so good when our middles get us quick play the balls and then we skin the opposition from the edges. I feel like Fisher Harris and that was still getting those quick play the balls. They just, yeah, it was a real drop-off from that 15-minute onwards mark on attack, and it was disappointing to see because we know it works so well. It's a basic attacking structure, and I say basic in terms of there's not a whole lot going on there. It's pretty straightforward, but it's hard to defend when executed well. We were executing it well at the start, and yeah, I think just mentally we switched off. I think we thought it was going to come a little bit easier than it was going to. We faced a little bit of adversity throughout the game, some different scenarios that we've been used to so far this year, but yeah, a little bit disappointing in terms of just going away from what's been working for us.
And then when the Tigers sort of started attacking and when they were going well, it seemed like they just opened it up and they followed what was working. Like, you saw Dewey broke the line a couple of times, they score, and then they just kept going back there and keep like taking advantage of the missed tackles or wherever it was or the defensive mishaps. But I just felt like they actually attacked the right areas and continued to attack the right areas when it was going right.
I think they studied us really well.
Yeah.
They came with a clear plan. Benji has made no excuses in saying that this is a game he really dials in for and wants to get. They wanted to win against us. I think it was the last 9 straight we bet them, and being a Kiwi, Benji had the boys up for this one. They had a plan for sure, and they executed it beautifully, which we'll touch on shortly for sure. Second tackle, just wanted to touch on some standouts for the Warriors. My last type of positive for our boys. I thought Fish was really good. He set the tone through the middle again, carried the ball hard, 139 run meters, some big shots on defense, 28 tackles, 1 missed in 49 minutes. Those are really good stats. He had that big shot on Makasini that forced an error. And I feel like his line speed, in particular, when we make opposition teams work off their own try line, our middle's line speed, like you can see him, you can see Jacko Ford, Aaron Clark, Marata when he came on, like they are getting up quick and wanting to hurt people. I feel like that was a really good area of our game, and I feel like Fish has continued that form that he started the season with. Jacob Laban, thought he was really busy, in particular in the first half. Missed a few tackles in the second and later in the game, but scored a try, 112 run meters, 26 tackles, only 46 minutes played. I thought he put in a good knock and was busy. Tanner Boyd still impressed me as well. Got the only Warrior to walk away with any Dally M points from this game. Stays in 4th, Jacko Ford in 2nd, Nathan Cleary in 1st now, which is certainly deserved. But I thought Tanner was good here. He looked dangerous when running the ball, had an off night goal kicking wise, and a couple of those misses I thought really hurt. In particular, when we got back, we had an opportunity to go back to 6 points. Instead, he missed. It remains at 8. Just little moments like that he has to ice, but that's been pretty critical. Had 2 try assists, made 21 tackles, some big shots as well. Kicking meters down a little, 419, but that's because Lukey Met kicked 200. I thought he looked pretty dangerous at times and was still one of, if not our best performer. And then lastly, I thought Marata was really good off the bench too. Carried hard, tackled hard. He had a great impact, and he's just a big body that chases people. He goes after it, both on attack and defense, so physical, and I thought his impact was massive for us.
Yeah, it was. Tanner Boyd, I agree with, was very good. I think he had a little bit of a different game, and we'll touch on that a bit shortly, why he had a different game, but I really liked how he still took a lot of the kicking. He still attacked with the same sort of intensity, took on the line. He sort of took the same responsibility that he has done, and I think he's just, I don't know what he did in preseason, whatever he did in preseason, whatever keys Andrew Webster gave to him, it's working because he's playing bloody good football at the moment. And like you said, the 21 tackles is actually a pretty good stat for a 7. So, yeah, I've still been impressed with him. Jacob Laban, does he need more minutes? What do you think about that?
Yeah, it's an interesting one because our bench is so versatile, right? We have guys like Marata, like Demi didn't even get on.
I was just going to say.
And he's been one of our best off the bench, or he's had a massive impact anyway, but you can't complain with the minutes that Tanner Stowers-Smith put out there either. So it's almost like too many players at the moment,
Chefs
not
in the
enough
kitchen.
minutes to go around, but it's an interesting one. I'm not sure if the Barnett at lock experiment worked either, but Yeah, look, there's just so much quality out there. I guess it's still round 4, right? He's finding ways to make it all work, but there's certainly a balance there that we have to work out 100%. My third tackle, my biggest takeaways, momentum swings and key moments. I feel like through the first 3 weeks, we're winning a lot of key moments, and in doing so, swinging momentum in our favour. Whereas in this game, I felt like it went the other way. Lads were switching off individually, which led to big momentum swings in the Tigers' favour and often led to points as well. The case in point being, and I mentioned before, our D, when we're loading up on the opposition team coming out of their own end. There was a play there, I think with about 30 minutes to go, where Tigers coming out of their own end, we race up, we smoke them, we force an error, and it looked amazing. We're about 20 metres out when we got the ball. Straight away, we go to play the ball, no one at dummy half. I think Barnett realised late, comes sliding in, the Tigers take the ball, they go the length of the field. Like, that is something that we haven't seen from the Warriors before, and that was what I was alluding to, where we were there physically but not mentally for a lot of the game. Like, that is very un-Warriors-like in 2026. Also, key moments. I think in the first 3 rounds, we'd won that 10-minute period before halftime and before full time, and we'd actually done so 9 tries to 0. So we hadn't conceded a try within 10 minutes of halftime or 10 minutes of full time, and we had scored plenty of points. In this game, we conceded 16 points in the last 7 minutes of the first half, and then we conceded another 2 tries in the last 10 minutes of the second half. So 26 of their 32 points came in a 14-minute window at the end of each half. Now, I don't know if that was fatigue, again, the mental side of things, but we also had 2 chances in the first 10 minutes after half time to score. One, I call a half chance. Laban onto that grubber. Tigers player beats him to it just and bats it dead. That's not really anyone's fault. That's just good scramble from the Tigers. Dallin had an opportunity to score, dropped it in the tackle of 3 Tigers off the back of a high ball, which again, not the easiest of tries, but I feel like you score them, you wrestle momentum back, and then maybe things look a little different from there. I feel like in the first 3 weeks, those kind of moments went our way, whereas this week they didn't. And yeah, the ends to halves, that's not a problem. We've had the opposite problem. 9 tries to 0 in the past. So, like, mentally fatigued, physically fatigued. We didn't look crazily tired. Tigers a big forward pack and big... I was shocked. Kai Pearce-Paul, Fainu, those are some big lads, man. Even Makasini, like, they are big bodies, but I don't think we'd look that gassed. Maybe the first 3 weeks took a toll, but yeah, that was very unlike us to start this year. And well done to the Tigers for winning those minutes, because that's when good teams normally make other teams pay. It's just been us doing it to start the year.
Yeah, it has been. And I think the biggest thing for me is that you touched on it earlier, that Tanner Boyd miss conversion to go. When you score and you get it to 8 and then it's going to go to 6 if you make the kick, it wasn't an easy kick, but it was a very gettable kick.
Yeah, it was about, what, 15, 10?
Something like that, yeah. That was a big moment, because I feel like those are the types of momentum swings in this year's NRL that you can actually get on the back of. You can jump on the back of that and go, yep, we've just scored. We're down 6. You can go down the other end and score. But because it was 8, I feel like it was a little bit of a deflator.
That's a good point, because like, players won't reference that, but then you have to score twice.
Exactly, and it
Whereas
changes
if
the
you can
dimension.
go to 6, and I looked to Kim during the game, my wife, and I said, we're going to win this game in golden point. And I feel like if you get that kick, that makes that a possibility. The players are up and about. You only have to score once to make it an even game. Having to score twice is a completely different mindset, eh?
Yeah, it is. And about before halftime, it felt like when we were leading, like, I'm not going to say it is complacency, because I know that they'll never admit that or anything, but it just seemed like we were confident in how we were playing, and then the Tigers just got a bit of a lift, and they sort of jumped on the back of that. Like, in the other games, like, it's been tighter, so we've been really in the contest, and then we've pulled away it before halftime, where it was kind of the other way. We were leading early, and then we had to kind of just hold till halftime.
It was weird, like, in games gone by, we've only scored first once, but it's like we've been punched in the face and we've wrestled it back and then just foot on the throat. Whereas here, we scored first, then we got punched in the face, we wrestled it back to get within 8, almost 6, and then we got punched again, right? And I feel like it was almost those long-range efforts and those one-on-one missed tackles that were a big deflator for us, because it's not something we've seen a lot of, but kind of leads through to my 4th point, which was individual defense. I thought our defense let us down again in this game. We missed 46 tackles compared to the Tigers' 20. to put that into perspective, we missed 24 against the Knights last week. And the Tigers did throw a whole lot more at us than the Knights did the week before. So you can't compare directly, but 46 is just too many. And to add to that, it was kind of where we were missing them. We had a number of bad individual one-on-one misses that led to points, in particular on our edges around that half centre channel. We had 5 players miss more than 5 tackles on Friday night, and 4 of them defend on an edge, whether they're a second rower, a half, or a centre. And credit to the Tigers' attack, you referenced it before. I thought they were really good. They came in with a plan, and they identified possible defensive efficiencies, and once they exposed them, they just kept going back to them. But yeah, it's just guys getting beaten one-on-one, which I'm sure we will fix this week, and it will be an area that the Sharks will look to target as well, using their halves, who are both great ball runners. They have good second rowers, they have strong attacking centres, and really good wingers, so they'll be licking their lips at the thought of that. I don't think we will do that again, but you can't have 5 guys missing more than 5 tackles. That's just a recipe for disaster, and as we've alluded to a few times now, they led to breaks from possibly inside the Tigers' own halves, and then it just becomes a draw and pass with the fullback, and it is a try.
Yeah, I want to get a little bit technical with one of the tries, the Chance missed tackle. Do you think that's a system error there? Because when you watch it, they kind of shift in, they shut in, and I think it's Tanner inside
and Lecker
Chance
outside.
and Lecker outside him, or whatever it was. I saw Chance dive in when the ball went out the back.
Yeah.
He dived in a little bit, and then he had to come back out to Dewey. So I feel like, is that a system error of they shut in because something didn't happen in the middle? Because you know how we talked about on attack earlier on in the season, how when the middles drive in and get on another middle and then the half shifts across. I hope I'm making sense.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Then the defence jams in and then that's where the space is wide. Do you think that was an issue, or was it literally just Chance missing the tackle?
We referenced that piece of string, didn't we? And how if someone jams in and they get exposed, then people have to adjust to fix that. The Lukey Met one where he missed on Adam Dewey, that was just a straight up miss. I think Adam Pompey read the play pretty well. They go out the back. I'm just watching it on my computer as we go through this. Pompey has the man outside him. He goes inside Pompey but gets rid of Lukey Met covering across, so perhaps that gap was a bit big. The distance between the two of them was too much. The Chance one I'm getting to now. Again,
because he comes in and
Adam
he shuts
Dewey
in.
making a break, right?
Yeah.
So he killed us. We'll get to him shortly. Tanner's reasonably high. Murata gets to his man. Tanner Boyd bites on a second row down line. So Chance has to come in, which is fair there, because that should be Tanner Boyd's man. So we should have pushed off there, but it's a tough read because that was a really good down line.
Yeah.
And Tanner...
Because Chance then did bite back out to get to Dewey, but it was too late because he'd already jammed in.
Yeah, and then in goes Dream Buller. Not much Tane can do there. Yeah, it's a tough one because I feel like Tanner just made a defensive decision off a really good down line. So it is really good attack. Perhaps Murata should have been pushed out a touch more. We have a lot of bodies there through the middle, and we don't have a defensive line set. Jacko Ford's still getting back into the line. So yeah, it's a little bit of everything. Good attack, but also you probably want Tanner to swim off that a little bit, but he's also not allowed to because he gets caught on the inside shoulder of the guy running a down line. So a bit of defensive alignment, perhaps connection there. I don't think Murata, Tanner Boyd and Chance would have defended a whole lot together as well. But yeah, Adam Dewey put on a clinic. And again, it's that same channel that they skinned us through before with Adam Dewey on the opposite side, but really good attacking play there from the Tigers. Yeah, look, they'll be crunching that through on screen all week this week to make sure that doesn't happen again, because 100% the Sharks will head there, but it's just errors we're not used to seeing. But at the same time, like the centres has been a little bit like Ali in week 1, and I know he recovered well from that as well, but we were getting exposed there too. Perhaps it is a right issue of whoever is at centre. Yeah.
The issue is that he has to jam in because of the down line, and teams are figuring out that going left, if they can actually get the down line and the
it's
edge
that right
coming
centre spot, isn't it?
Correct.
So hopefully a bit of time and settle and some combinations there can fix that. It'll be interesting, like, does he stick with Tane and Chance this week? I think you kind of need to give these guys another go, personally.
But if you give them another go after a loss, like... He didn't really give them all a go after a win last week.
But I feel
So
like
what-
if that is our strongest team on paper that we
Like
can
last
field
week?
when people are healthy, which was the chat, right?
Yeah.
Then why is it all of a sudden not?
No, you're right.
off the
I'm
back
just
of
thinking
one-
that, you know how you
Yes.
talk about how when you win games,
Yeah.
you don't change it. And then when you lose a game, you shouldn't change it. You
Yeah.
know, like what's that
It's an
dynamic?
interesting dynamic, right? And I will say, like, a lot of Warriors fans wanted Tane at the back, Chans at centre, and now they're saying shouldn't have made that change. So it is like hindsight is a crazy thing. I think with Lukey Met, he definitely looked rusty, 100%. Like, it was summed up perfectly with that pass that he went to throw and the ball just slipped out of his hands. We've all done that in like a social touch game or something, but not on the NRL stage. He definitely looked rusty, but now that he is in, and I don't think you can blame the whole loss 100% on him, because as a team, we didn't deliver, but I think you have to stick with it now.
Yeah, it's an interesting one because last week we were hot. Well, I was hot on the fact that he shouldn't have played.
Yeah, and I was all on it because my logic behind it was Chanel had played 9 minutes against the Raiders, didn't play against the Knights.
Yeah.
Like, he effectively would be coming back in off a 2-week layoff as well. Now, defensively, Chanel, would he have made that first tackle on Adam Dewey? Does he shore up our defensive line because he's a really strong hitter? Perhaps, but I think like Lukey Met is going to be in our team long term. He is one of our best players, and now that we have put him in, I feel like you kind of kill his confidence if you take him out. I'd be incredibly surprised if they did that.
Yeah, I would be too. I think just on last week's thing, I was very hot on him not playing just on the injury factor.
Yeah, and coming back, right?
And that didn't happen. So it's not like I've seen it coming. But I just think that the whole thing about that is that, do you think that it was the wrong decision? Like, I know lots of people are talking about it, and I know hindsight's a wonderful thing, but we were talking about how that it could limit the sort of connection that these two have had, and he's coming straight back in. It's an important game. Did they underestimate the Tigers by bringing him back in, or what do you? Because I know there's a lot of talk about that.
Yeah, I think Weeby would have tossed up that, like, if Chanel had played against the Knights, then I don't think Lukey comes straight back in. I think
because it was Luke Hansen.
I think because it was Luke Hansen, because Chanel had effectively not played in 2 weeks, coming back off a concussion. I think it made it easier to pull the trigger on that. Was it too early? Look, perhaps it wasn't the performance that we were seeing from Metcalf when prior to his injury, but at the same time, it was never going to be, right? He needs time to come back from a 10-month layoff, and Lukey will be bloody good over the next few weeks, 100%. Was it the time to do it? I don't know. I was a big fan of it just because I think when your best players are back available and healthy, you put them straight back in. Like, I couldn't imagine a Nathan Cleary playing cup footy off the back of an injury. And yes, Cleary is the best player in the game, but Lukey Met was leading the Dally M's, and he was our best player last year prior to injury. So I think he almost earned that right to come straight back in. At the same time, it's very different being a half compared to a prop, like what we saw Barnett. You can ease back in. So I see every part of the argument. I think Lukey isn't 100% to blame for this. So, yeah, I don't know. I think we were off. He was off a little bit as well. So it highlights it way more than what it potentially could have been. If everyone else had played to the level that they were playing at prior to this game, I think the difference wouldn't have been as noticeable. I think it was almost like the worst possible outcome to highlight it all.
Yeah, final thing on that is that I don't think he wasn't the reason we lost.
No.
Like, the team didn't play well enough. He, like, the forward pack, I don't think fronted up as usual. I don't think the reason of him coming back in was why we lost, but I just think it didn't help. It didn't help the connection. It didn't help the consistency. It didn't help even Tanner Boyd, I don't think.
Well, when you're getting punched in the face, you rely on combos and things like that,
And it
right?
wasn't
And
there,
I do
right?
think we potentially could have been a little bit more organised if we had stuck with the same selections. I even think, like I love Tane at fullback. He was good again, but Chance defensively at fullback, so solid. So, like, was that the right play too? I'm not 100%. But then you look at Ali Lautawa and Cup, great on attack, made 10 tackles, missed 5. So, like, is that a defensive area where he would have still got exposed in this game? He's been good at first grade. I'm not saying he can't tackle, but, like, defensively and Cup wasn't amazing either. So, yeah, there's a lot of questions. I'll leave them to
It's
Webby,
an interesting one.
But as fans, it's a good point to debate. I think now, though, we need to decide, like, these guys are healthy now, so what is our team? And let's pick and stick and give guys a few, like, Lukey has to be in there this week. I'll be shocked if he's not.
Yeah, I'd be shocked if he's not. And he wasn't the reason we lost. I'm just frustrated because I saw what we saw the weeks before with Tanner and Luke Hansen.
Oh, at 10-0, I was like, this team is
unreal.
exceptional, right?
And I don't disagree with him playing him because it's your best player, but it's interesting one now that we've lost. It's to look back and go,
and it gives people an easy out.
It does.
Sure, in terms of fans. So I understand people saying it is the reason. I don't know. Let's wait and see. It could all click against the Sharks and the Storm over the next couple of weeks. We banked both wins. Lukey looks amazing, and all of a sudden losing this game against the Tigers, but him getting minutes wasn't the worst outcome. But let's get on to our fifth tackle, and that's the Tigers. I just wanted to give them their props. I thought they were unreal. It's not easy to come over here and knock off the Warriors on a Friday night, full stadium, Warriors running hot. They had a true underdog mindset, and I think mentally you could tell Benji just had them up for this one. I thought Adam Dewey was best on ground. That performance he put in when he clearly wasn't 100%. You could see him standing out the back of plays, just finding his minutes to semi-rest his leg and recharge during the game. But when he did get ball in hand, 210 run meters, 2 line breaks, 2 try assists, 9 tackle breaks, made all of his tackles, 15 from 15. He's had some great games for the Tigers, but given the circumstances, that injury, having to fly on a dodgy hammy, wet conditions, like there was still a fair bit of dew and grease on the field. It's a hamstring's worst nightmare, and he had to dig deep, but that was right up there for him in terms of his best performances that I have seen him play. He was great for fantasy too. I was stoked I stuck by him, put him on my bench, removed the captaincy, which I was gutted at, but I still had that 50-50 around whether he was going to play. Once I saw him warming up, I thought he was good to go. But shit, it's not easy to prep for a game like that off the back of an injury. You could tell he wasn't 100%. The flying, we had a storm here on Thursday, so I doubt he would have done much at captain's run. Man, is he a quality footballer.
Great player. And you could even see with those breaks that he was running at 75%.
Yeah.
Like, you could just tell when he's, like, getting through that gap because, you know, probably Adam Dewey takes on the line there or he gives a fend, but he's just, like, waiting for someone. He's like, where are they? So I love that. And we said he wasn't going to play. Like, I know I did.
Yeah.
Just based on the fact that he's got a dodgy hammy. I mean, Benji said that it was groin as well. It was like a little bit of an interesting one.
He couldn't walk off the It looked like it was full gone.
I don't care whether it's a hammy or a groin. Yeah. Whatever it was.
Either.
He was no good, I thought. So, yeah, unreal performance under all circumstances.
I thought his halves partner did a beautiful job complimenting him as well. Jock Madden, take a bow. Like, he took over that dominant playmaker role, even though he was in the 6. His grandfather actually passed away late last week, but he decided to miss the funeral to play because that's what his granddad would have wanted. And again, I guess that's just another example of how up they would have been for this game, right? Because they wouldn't have wanted to let him down. But yeah, his first game for the Tigers since 2022, and he ran the cutter beautifully for them. His kick meters, 598 kick meters. A few of them led to tries too. I thought the Tigers were really good in the air, and they came away with some points off the back of a fair few of his nudges. He looked calm and composed. And yeah, he's the first half to win the kicking battle against the Warriors this year, so well done to Jock Madden. I thought Dream Buller was really good. 6 tackle breaks, 175 run meters, and a try. Kai Pierce-Paul, dangerous on the edges. Taruva, good on attack. Jeez, he was going at Mitch Barnett. That last 20-odd minutes, I don't know what happened between the two of them, but they were ripping into each other, both physically and verbally. And when I think it was Jock Madden scored that try in the left corner, Taruva ran across all the way from the right, and he was just pointing at Barnett and Fish, laughing and just spraying them, saying something. Then he scored that try at the end, and that was salt into the wound. He was going at them. I was interested to see if they shook hands after the game. They did. So clearly it's all within the 80 minutes, but something happened between Taruva and Barney, and I almost think it threw Barney off a little because he was just trying to put on shots after that. Rattled him a little. And then the Tigers defensively really good. Like Twile made 48 tackles, 1 miss.
He was in my fantasy team.
He would have racked up the points, 70-odd, right?
Yeah, 78.
70-odd. Terrell May, Uppy, Kai Pierce-Paul, Samuel Alafainu all made over 40 tackles, and none of them missed more than 1. I thought they really aimed up, and as we touched on before, they did their study, they did their homework, they knew the areas of the paddock they needed to either win or mitigate us in, and then they just doubled down on their strengths. They're in third at the moment. They look like a team that will be there or thereabouts in terms of top 8, playing finals footy or not. They just need some injury luck to go their way. Although in Jock Madden, they've showed that they could lose a half and still be all right. But I think we've realised the Tigers are actually a pretty decent team this year.
Yeah, I was having some conversations with people, and people were saying, "Oh, it's an appalling loss for the Warriors," blah blah blah, and about the fact that the Tigers aren't that great of a side. And I went, "Well, actually, no. The Tigers are a good side. They showed that they're a good side.
They
Benji
had
them
one
up for it.
loss, right, to the Bunnies, and they were in that game. You could argue they might have got it if the halves hadn't gone off. So, and the Bunnies are considered a good footy side, right?
Yeah, and I just thought I was really impressed with Benji. Like, I know that we've talked about how much he was gonna love this one, or he was going to get the boys up for it. I thought he coached really well. I thought he had the boys set up perfectly. They identified where the Warriors were probably going to miss tackles, if you look at that.
Yeah, or new combinations, right?
Correct. Yeah. So what do you actually make of Benji's decisions making during the week? Because if you look at the lineups, without Jerome Luai, like, I know we didn't have our full squad, but it was near full strength, and they didn't have Jerome Luai, Adam Dewey on one groin or whatever. So what did you actually make of Benji's lineups? Did he out-coach Webster? Is there all of this stuff going on? Like, what do you think?
I don't know if he out-coached him. I don't know if our team executed the game plan as much as the Tigers did. But yeah, Benji clearly did his homework. He had them up for this. Man-to-man on paper, you'd back the Warriors side in particular in form. But the Tigers weren't exactly out of form either. Like, they've had a bye, they've had one loss and 2 wins. So they've been tracking pretty well. Yeah, it was an interesting one. I think the Tigers lads executed a whole lot better than the Warriors lads did. Again, we started well. But well done to the Tigers for staying composed and fighting their way back into it too, because a lot of teams, when you come over to New Zealand, if you concede the first 10 points, then they're going to struggle from there on out. But they managed to withhold kind of everything we threw at them. And when the game got tight and we got into the arm wrestle, they won those little moments too. So mentally and physically, they were both on. And yeah, I was just shocked at how big that Tigers pack is. I think they're going to surprise a fair few teams this year. And yeah, Benji had them up for an interesting point too. I know SJ and Benji caught up during the week for a bit of an interview chat. They were given 15 minutes by the Tigers media team. It went for almost an hour. So I'm not sure what stage and where that yarn is going to come out. I think it was for League Lounge, but they might have to do a full Benji special, because that is a fly-on-the-wall conversation I would love to listen to. 2 of the great Kiwis halves chopping it up. Almost an hour of Benji and SJ. Yes, please.
Yeah, it'd be an interesting one to listen to, based on the fact that we don't actually, like, if all of it doesn't get released, that makes it almost more intriguing of what they were talking about, because there could be a lot of stuff in there that would be interest of a lot of people and a lot of NRL fans, so it'd be interesting. I just really enjoyed the way Benji held himself during the week and sort of attacked the game, knowing that it meant a lot to his players and him, but he had the boys up for it.
Yeah. They were on, for sure. And then my last point, my 6th tackle, is just our work-ons for this week. Got to look forward. We're still in second, so it's certainly not doom and gloom. But I think this week, back to basics. And I wouldn't change too much, to be fair. Complete high. The recipe's simple. Over 80% minimum, 85% ideally. We've got to roll through the middle. We've got to set the platform. Quick play the balls, allow Wade, Tanner Boyd to do their thing. I don't think we need to overcomplicate our attack. Just dominate possession and territory, execute our red zone shape. We don't need to overplay our hand or try reinvent the wheel. On defense, one-on-one, obviously we need to be a whole lot better. Yeah, look, line speed, good. Execution, not great. Decision-making, not amazing either. I'm hoping another week of connections kind of fixes that, and no doubt that'll be a massive focus point for the lads this week. I believe they only really trained once at high intensity last week because it was a shorter turnaround. I think the Tuesday session was the heavy load, Wednesday light, Thursday captain's run, and then into the Friday. So this week they'll get a full proper week of prep and a little bit longer, so they can get a bit more physical and try and iron out some of those deficiencies. And then discipline was a weird one for me, because we actually won the penalty count on the weekend, 9-3, with 3-all in ruck infringements. I thought we were pretty harshly done by on a fair few calls though. Maybe that was just the Warriors fan in me trying to find an excuse for it. I don't think it was an excuse or a reason we lost, but it felt like a few calls didn't go our way. Still, we were reasonably disciplined. I guess it's just where we gave away our penalties or made errors that hurt us. But I don't think it's time for panic. The weekend showed us, with the results from other games too, if you rock up at 70% or less of your game, there is 12 or 13 teams in the comp that can beat you. We were off. We were at about 70%, maybe less, and we got beaten by a team that was on. So tough pill to swallow. Might be the best thing possible for us. stops anyone, fans or players, getting slightly ahead of themselves, and we reset and go again against the Sharks team that we've had some luck against lately, a team that if they listen to our podcast would find all the motivation they need to try and beat the Warriors because we're not big fans. They can look extremely dangerous if you give them a chance. That battle through the middle is going to be exciting with AFB. And then I keep referencing their halves who have been in really good form. But we win this week and all is right again. And may I just plug $2.45 odds early in the week. I like that. I think we are too good of a side to go back-to-back losses.
Yeah, it's a bit of a reality check for everyone involved, I think. The Sharks, I will be keeping quiet this week for a lot of reasons. In case we're on the socials next week.
Yeah.
So we'll be keeping quiet. But it's a big game because the Sharks are a dangerous side. And if we defend any way like we did against the Tigers, I think we're in big trouble. Yeah. Like, if I'm going to be completely honest, we're in big trouble if Nico Hines takes on the line with any sort of momentum.
Trindle.
Yeah, so I'm a little bit worried on that part. But I do think we'll bounce back and be a lot better this week.
I think back to basics, lockdown, goal line, scrambled D. Again, the effort was there, but the mental side and the execution wasn't quite. So I think we see back to that Warriors performance of the first 3 rounds, which we've all loved so much. But that was Searley's set of 6 for this week. Hope you enjoyed it. The first one off the back of a loss. So a little bit different, but hopefully it was therapeutic for you. Hopefully I've filled you with enough confidence to not panic just yet. It's a long season. 27 rounds of footy, you best believe we'll be back. And hey, we're sitting in second place on the ladder. So if you told me that at the end of round 4 we'd be in second, you would absolutely take that any day of the week. So it's still up the wires, and we look forward to this weekend's game against the Sharks. I reckon we get them. How bloody good.